So in this video, we're going to go over how to create anchor tags, which is the tag that we use to make links so that we can click to get to other pages on the web. It's going to be probably a sad and boring video for you, but you probably want to watch the whole thing and not assume that you know everything too soon, because there's some subtleties with links that show up when we try to link to things within the folder structure of our own website. The simplest possible link is just a link out to an external website. So for example, I've dropped an extra paragraph into the code that we've been using so far, where I talk about the fact that you can use Google to find complete list of tags that are available to you. There's so many of them that there's no way that we could go over them all in the context of a few boring video lectures, right? So here on the WC3 website, there's an alphabetical listing of all of the tags that are available to you. And notice if they say they're not supported in HTML5, that means they're not going to be supported in XHTML 1.1 either. So those are tags that you couldn't use. But here's everything that's available to you. So let's say we wanted to make a link out to this page. I would just double click and copy that link. And then if I go back over to, let me refresh this really fast. If we go back over to the page here, I could put an anchor tag around the words that I want the user to click. So anchor tag is just an A. And then there's the stuff that you want the user to click, and then you put a close A tag on the other side of that. And that creates an anchor tag. And within the anchor tag, you need the href attribute, and in double quotes, this href stands for hypertext reference, and that's just the URL that the user is going to visit when they click on your link. So if it's an external link, you put in the whole web address. And then if we click save, so this is the simplest possibility. If we click save, HTML tags ordered alphabetically shows up as a clickable link. We'll learn how to style those links when we're doing style sheets, but for right now we're just making sure they work. And we click that and it takes us out to the web page that we were just looking at. And I'll hit the back button and bring my page back up. So that's an external link, but we also want to be able to link to pages within our own web structure, our own website structure that we're building. So let's suppose we add another web page to our existing folder structure. So I'm going to go File, New File, and I'm going to add a new file, and I'm going to give this a boring name. I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Page 2. And now I want to talk a little bit about file naming conventions, which is kind of tangential to this conversation, but needs to happen at some point. We're accustomed in the Windows operating system to putting spaces between things and doing things like page 2. In web programming, this is going to be a bad habit. So if we have a file name that uses more than one word, we have two customary options available to us for using good coding practices. So the first option is to take the words that you want to use and separate them with an underscore. So if I wanted to call this page 2.3, I would go page underscore 2 underscore 3. And I would use all lowercase letters with underscores separating the words. The other possibility is what we call camelback, and that's where you make the first word all lowercase, and then you capitalize the first letter of each subsequent word. This is what I usually do, but the underscore method is just as valid a file naming mechanism. But I do expect you to use one of these two conventions, either underscores with all lowercase words or use camelback. So I'm going to use camelback. I'm going to call this page 2 with camelback notation, no spacing between the two words, and the first word is not capitalized. And it's a web page, so I'm going to go .htm. I have to put the file extension on it, HTML or HTML. And then because I'm making a web page, I need that code snippet that we made in Sublime. We made a code snippet that had the basic template for a web page that we need to get a page that will validate in the W3C validator. So I'm going to go XHTML 1.1, which was the trigger name that I gave for my code snippet. I'm going to type that and hit tab. And now I've got my basic template. And then just so that we can actually see something, let's put a paragraph inside the body. Close paragraph. And let me tab this down. And then I'm going to put some text in that paragraph. So lorem tab for some text. And then I'm going to hit Control Save so that this page will show up. So now if I'm over here and I want to link to that page, let's come up here and make another paragraph. P tab. Whoops, got to get inside the paragraph to type. Click here to open my boring page 2. All right, so I have page 2 that I created. I'm going to click here to open that. And that means I need here the word here to be clickable. So I'm going to put an anchor tag around it. So anchor, close anchor around the word here. And then I need to do href, hypertext reference. And then what I need to do is recognize that index and page 2 are both located at the same level within Homework 1 folder. So page 2 and page 1 can see each other directly. So all I need to do is type page2.htm, and I need the file extension on it, and save, and I should be able to open page 2. So refresh to get my changes. Click here to open my boring page 2. Click, and there's my boring page 2. And notice the issue is I made no link on page 2 so I can get back to my home page. So typically you want your pages to be interconnected. So I'm going to hit the back button, go back into Sublime. I'm going to copy and paste my link that I put on my home page, my index.htm. I'm just going to quickly paste that in and fix my indenting. It looks like I need to fix the indenting a hair to get it to look right, and maybe a little space between the two paragraphs. So click here to open my boring page 2, but now I'm on page 2, so I want to open my home page, which is named index, so my home page, and I need to change this link name to index.htm. So I'm going to click Control Save, and now if I refresh my page, Control R, the page should be refreshed. Click here to visit page 2. Click here to open the home page, and now I've gotten back to the home page. So now things will get a little bit more complicated if you have pages you need to link to that are inside of other folders. So let's go ahead and add another folder inside of the Homework 1 folder. So I'm going to go right click, new folder. Whoops, I must have hit the delete folder. I don't want to do that. New folder, and down here, folder name, I'm going to call this Anchor Example. For lack of better name, hit enter. So now inside my Homework 1 folder, there should be an Anchor Example folder showing up. I'm going to go ahead and make a third page and put it inside of this folder. So I'm going to go File, New File, File, Save As. I'm going to call this page 3.htm. Notice I used the camelback notation, putting it into the Anchor folder, click Save. So now my file structure that's showing up on the left side of the page, I have my Anchor Example folder inside my Homework folder with the page 3.htm inside the Anchor Example. And this page 3, you might as well make sure it has the correct template. So I'm going to use my code snippet, XHTML 1.1 tab, and let's put a paragraph with some text inside of it. So paragraph, tab, enter, lorem tab, put some text inside of there, save it, Control save, and here's my page 2 link. Let me go ahead and copy and paste the link I put on page 2 to surf back to the home page. Let me copy and paste that code into page 3 so that it also has a link showing up to the home page. What we're going to see is this is not going to work, but that's all right for right now. So if I go back to my index page, let's say I now want to get a link to my page 3 that's inside my anchor example folder. Inside this paragraph, I'm going to put another link to it. I'm going to put a break tag BR, which is a self-closing inline tag, and the break tag BR just does a line break. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste my first sentence. Copy, paste that, and this I'm going to change this to page 3, which is the new page that I just made, and change this to my boring page 3, and then Control save. So what I'm going to see is this link I made to the file page 3 isn't going to work, and the reason it's not going to work, I'm going to refresh, is that I won't be able to find the file. The browser says your file was not found, and the problem is that the index page, because page 3 is inside the anchor example folder, the index page cannot see the file I asked it to open right here. But the index page can see the anchor example folder. So I need to tell the web browser to first, from where the index page is located, first find the anchor example folder, / open that folder, and then open the page3.html file that's inside that folder. So if we now go Control save and hit refresh and then click here to open the boring page 3, the boring page 3 opens. But if I try to click the link on boring page 3 to get back to the home page, it will not work because the file won't be found. And the issue here is if I look at page 3 does have the index.html file, but page 3 is inside this folder, so it can't see anything outside of the folder that it's in. It needs to tell the web browser to back up out of the anchor example folder and then find the index file. So the way that we do that is we go .. This tells the browser to back up one folder level and then look for the file in question. So now if I go Control save and I go here, click to go to page 3, and then click here, it will take me back to the home page because this time I told the browser it needed to back up a level. If we were buried in levels deep of folders, we can keep backing out of them. So if I needed to back up 2 levels of folders, I would just do 2 .. left slashes. If I needed to back out of 3 levels of folders, then I would just have 3 levels of .. backslashes. You just tell the browser to back up as far as it needs to before it looks for the folders or files that you need it to find. I'm going to go hit save and go ahead and end this video.